And we're back. You know, I've noticed that despite it having been a couple days since I got my DRCJ win, Beam doesn't seem to be aware of it. I'm actually on a streak right now of 2 wins, if you look. But it only says I've won my last game, MFGL, so hopefully the server didn't just somehow lose it due to the crash. I wonder if other people are experiencing this, but these problems tend to fix themselves. Okay, we don't really want to fight these two at the same time, so let's pog back to the gate, and now we're standing on the way out, and we'll go up now that we've killed one of them, and rest off the corrosion. That's pretty good. Remember, we're training evocations because we want to have the best the most long-lasting Phantom Mirror that we can have, and we also want to have a shot at paralyzing TRJ with a vulnerability scroll. In fact, I'm going to grab this other wand of paralysis real fast, just so I have plenty of charges. Looks like we left this in Snake. We also have, some other tools available to us. Scrolls of Summoning, Box of Beasts, so on and so forth. So we won't necessarily have to rely on that. We have a lot of options, is what I'm saying. And of course we will throw on our Ring of Robustness once we see that there are no golden eyes around, because we're not even immune to their gaze. They still have a 2% chance to hit us with that. And that's while wearing a lot of MR plus on like every single finger, and also well, I guess just on both rings. So we have MR plus plus from items. I see that we have a Shining Eye here. We're going to try to use the feel. If you have a feel, it's a really good move to do that. There's a chance that the elementals will show up in the path of the Shining Eye, eliminating its ability to malmutate you as long as they're in the path. Ooh, there's another one that showed up, and I wasn't paying enough attention. But I haven't been malmutated yet. If you're using melee, you could fog and then wait for it to come to you, but I'm using bows, so I'm just gonna fire on it. Tried to malmutate me and failed. And it dies, cool. Let's get on the staircase. We've got quite a lot of nasty things coming. I'm going to risk getting confused since it's only 2% and I want a staircase. I really want to kill the Azure Jelly because it does quite a lot of damage. And it's dead, so now we can focus on the Golden Eyes a little bit. We also want to take out the Great Orb of Eyes. Well, actually no, it's 0% on all the things that matter, so we're not concerned about that. But in general, your biggest problem in here, if you know how to maneuver around enemies... Ooh, wow, I'm next to quite a lot of potential damage. Let's pog. Yeah, but as long as you know how to... If you have some like way of juking the enemies in this place, what you really want to do, or what you really want to be primarily worried about, is MR, because Great Orb of Eyes can paralyze you, and more importantly, Golden Eyes can confuse you. And the thing about Golden Eye Confuse is that, you know, it's not like... It's not it's not as tame as Confuse sometimes is on other monsters that you're fighting, because they pretty much do nothing but try to confuse you over and over. I mean, they can blink, they can move, but in practice, when you have a whole pack of these things just trying to confuse you, you're going to get confused, even if it's only like 10% chance, because they just spam it so much. They don't have an attack is the thing. So that's one less thing for the RNG to pick for them to do. And that's one of the reasons you really should value MR very, very, very highly, especially when you're in here. Yeah, I'll go ahead and dig this out. A little bit of a waste, but I wanted my arrows back. Okay, let's just kill this acid blob if we can, and we'll go up the stairs as soon as it's dead. Cool. These slime creatures are not really a huge risk for us as long as they don't merge into, you know, Titanic. And of course we can just pog away from them. With Passage of Galubria, you're fairly safe in here. I mean, obviously if you have bad defenses or you have open slots on account of your race or whatever, you need to be extra careful around the acid blobs. They will do a ton of damage, but otherwise, I mean, sure, Azure Jellies are fast, but not fast enough to stop you from pogging. And that's one of those things that makes Pog one of the best spells in the game, you know? I mean, if you find Pog, it's just a no-brainer to use it. This isn't the only branch that it makes easier, but because of the overall consistency of Slime 4, or slime in general, I should say. I was just looking at where we are. But yeah, the overall consistency of slime means that you know what to expect. You know that you can get away from anything in here with Pogs, so... I mean, that goes for other movement tricks too, like swiftness for the most part gets you out of problems here, I guess. I wouldn't rely on blink because it can send you closer to things, and in here that's almost a death sentence if you don't have some other emergency plan. I probably wouldn't go into slime without at least one scroll of blinking, if you can avoid it. Okay, here we are. We're on Slime 5. Let's think about what we want to do here, because we don't exactly have the tools that I would like to have for this. I'm fairly certain I'm going to blow haste on this, and I'm probably going to fight him in the hallway. So starting out, I'm just going to clear out the level a bit. And if we see TRJ, no problem, we'll just pog back to the staircase. And speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Now we don't want to actually hit TRJ. We don't want to hit TRJ, we don't want to make any monsters yet, any jelly friends. Unfortunately, he's blocking that staircase now, so we're going to have to clear the path to something else. Looks like we've gotten lucky with the configuration of Slime 4. We have all 3 staircases available, so that's good. You want to watch out for these Eyes of Devastation. Energy Bolt can actually do pretty good damage. They're easy to kill though, low hit points. For a bow user, you have a much easier time in here. I mean, bow users, or ranged users in general, have an easier time with most things, I would say. But in particular, You know, everything in here except for the acid blobs requires they have to be close to you. I mean, I guess Eyes of Devastation can shoot you at range as well, and sort of the Great Orb of Eyes. But for the most part, things in here need to be next to you to do damage to you, so if you're taking them out as they approach you, that's much better. Looks like we have Berserkitis and minus MP. Neither of those things affect us too badly. Berserkitis doesn't affect us at all since we're using a bow. Death Oozes, of course, can rot you if they hit you. And here comes TRJ trying to have some fun, but we're not ready yet. We really just want to clear out. I just want to clear out the area a bit. Anytime I'm fighting multiple acid blobs, I want to be on a staircase. Wow, 4 of them. Jeez. The biggest mistake you can make in this place is wandering too far from the staircase. Your safest house is in here as long as you can get to a staircase. If you can't, well, you know, you're probably going to die if something bad happens. It's just like anywhere else, really. I mean, I'll wander a little further from staircases on this character because I have Pog. I know I can safely get to a staircase. And I have Scrolls of Blinking failing that. But in general, I'll be extremely careful in here, or at least I'll try to. And that carefulness will include staying near a staircase. The other thing is that as a ranged unit, acid blobs tend to want to stay at the edge of your line of sight in terms of what will happen if you go upstairs and downstairs. I've found that they will reposition. Like, you'll come back down and they won't be next to you like you would expect. They'll actually reposition to go further away, which is annoying if you're using melee, but it's actually pretty good if you're using ranged, because then you've reset the fight and eventually you can just kill them. Some interesting... Oh, that's funny. So the skin of Zor has spawned, which is gives you a ton of RC+, but then also earlier, if you recall, we were wearing the Salamander hide armor. So I guess I find that a little ironic. We've gotten the super cold resistance and the super fire resistance armor. Okay, we've got TRJ. Let's go ahead and use haste. Use the usual haste, might, agility, not resistance. We don't need to waste one. We have RC++ and our core. We're going to lure backwards. Trying to think if I need anything else. I guess not. Okay, cool. And we'll just be ready to blink away if we need to. We're actually going to lure here because I have quite a lot of summons. I'll just wait. I'll wait. Let's see if we can't net him. Good, we can. Now let's use the mirror. Unfortunately, there is this next to it, but we've got our own TRJ here, so that's not too bad. I'll go ahead and use summoning so there are things behind me. And I'm going to use vulnerability. And let's see if we can... It's only 18%. I'm not so sure about that. So I think I'm probably just going to fire a bunch. The area is all filled up with units, so he can't spawn any more friends when we hit him. And we do a lot of damage when we hit him. And there we go. If we just back out a bit, looks like Okawaru gave us some boots. Let's put some distance between us and these guys. even though we're hasted. Now, we could have also used something I forgot to do there. I should have Hero Wisdomed. That was a mistake. I knew I was forgetting something. But we're pretty stacked, so it didn't really hurt us. Take out the ranged things first, and then the rest. Probably could have done that without using a haste. I also forgot to wear the Ring of Robustness, but that's, again, it didn't really hurt us. I have this bad habit of forgetting things like that in the heat of the moment. And then I'll recognize it right afterwards. Wow, really, really good boots. +3, which is more than they can be if they were mundane. RF plus and MP plus 9, that's ludicrous. Okay, looks like we got a helmet of See Invisible, so we'll drop our hat of See Invisible and get some extra AC. Finally have a Lamp of Fire, those are always nice to see. Wand of Disintegration, we don't need that. Scroll of Acquirement. We'll just go armor, I guess. Boots of Running. Normally I would wear the Boots of Running. I'm not so sure this time. Let's see, if I go back to wearing FDA... If I go back to wearing FDA, then I won't need the extra fire resistance. It'll already be at RF+++. Man, this game has been insanely generous to me, I'll say that much. You know... I think I am going to put the Fire Dragon back on, and I'm going to wear the Boots of Running. Having running on a bow character, as awesome as those +3 boots of RF Plus are, I mean, am I really going to pass up running? I don't think so. Oh, Arcblade. If you find Arcblade, and it's not this far in the game, use it. It's awesome. Okay, brand weapon we don't need, so we'll turn that off. And we'll identify our last unidentified scroll, which is Silence. I mean, there are more. Holy Word is still unidentified, but it was the last one in the inventory. We need to be a little careful. We have our core turned off right now because we don't have our acid. Sorry about that. Some motorcycle going by. One of these days, I'm not going to live next to a road, and it's going to be really nice. Alright, so yeah, that clears out slime for us. I feel like a chump leaving behind these +3 boots, but I think it's the right decision. Running is just so powerful. I think it makes your speed when moving from like 10 to 12, so just being able to very slightly outrun speed 10 things is really, really valuable. I mean, we still have Pog, and Pog is better than that, but I still wouldn't turn it down, and plus we're not going to have Pog when it comes to Zot. So, that's something to bear in mind. Okay. Wow, I'm still in a spot where I don't want to wear the Ring of Robustness because I want to go into Crypt next, just to get the loot. And the thing about Crypt is that there are Vampire Knights in there, and they can paralyze you. So, unfortunately, we haven't found anything other than the dagger with 2 pips of MR on it. So we're pretty much stuck wearing these 2 MR rings just for the sake of safety. Which is a shame because that +8 AC would be really nice to have. I'm sure some people are seeing the way that I'm doing this and screaming at the computer like, why are you passing up 8 AC? And that's a fair point, but having died to paralysis in really stupid ways, that's just how much I value MR. So, let's see, this only took about 20 minutes. I could go ahead and go into Crypt. Without our negative, though, not so sure. I'm thinking I just want to go straight to Zot. But no Aralek. I mean, we're mostly just talking about things that would be nice to have at this point. Like Aralek, a pip of our nag. Suppose I could always drink a bunch of these mutation potions and hope I get MR+, but it's not like the situation is dire. And I can always swap on RN+. So yeah, we'll go ahead and go to Crypts in the next video, probably. I mean, I'm really tempted to break my rule and go to Elf, just to have a slightly easier time. There's really nothing, I mean, I'm not like terribly afraid of Zot or anything. I just, when possible, I like to go in with Aralek, simply because the golems are a real pain, or can be. I suppose I can swap on that dagger, but then I would have to find a way to kill it with my evocations, which is certainly possible, but I'd have to use charges. Thankfully, we have a lot of scrolls of recharging, and we have a lot of charges of scattershot, so that'll be handy if we need to one-shot pop any Panlords. Let's go back to training these guys, though, and get them to 22. Alright, so I'm going to sign off here. Next time we'll go to Crypts, and I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me kill the Royal Jelly.